Am I a nomad, a YouTuber, or just a digital pack rat? A friend pointed out that I need to stop talking the talk and start walking the walk. And so this is a little story about what he was talking about and how I hope to change it. So, I think I have a problem. How much memory is too much memory? I think I have a problem. Let me click the camera in here. Somebody called me a digital pack rat, or said I called him a digital pack rat. And I did say he was behaving like a digital pack rat. I didn't really mean he was a digital pack rat, because that would be the pot calling the kettle black. But digital files, when you travel and you go on vacation, how do you deal with them? My idea that I haven't been executing was to cut everything. You know, you go out, you have a beautiful day, you take a bunch of photos, you take some video clips, you make some verbal notes, and record some memories. And my idea was always to cut that into a video of this day or this trip or whatever, and then just keep the video and get rid of all the other files, because I grew up in a time when people would invite you over to their house and you'd watch a slideshow. And they'd narrate the slideshow, and everybody would like go, oh, grin and bear it, try to find reasons not to go. And it was just horrible. But having this new technology is great, because we can capture these amazing photos, spectacular video, and store it forever, unless you've got the mess I've got. And how do you not end up with that? I mean, how do you not just keep buying more and more hard drives and socking away all these things, and go look at your phone. I think your phone is a good indication of how well you manage your digital files. If you've got a cloud service that just keeps growing and growing and growing beyond belief at exponential rates, you're probably in the same situation many of us are, is that you've got all these digital files and they mean nothing to anybody but you, and they'll never be seen or used by you because it's too cumbersome to get through it. So my idea, my plan, a little part of why I wanted a YouTube channel is I could say, look, here's this trip. I went on this trip, say, to the Philippines. I went to these islands, and here's some memories from that trip. So how do I envision myself going forward and not ending up with, just more and more and more and more hard drives? One of the things is to use my time more effectively. So one, I'm not filming as much as I used to. I'm not recording. I'm not taking as many pictures. I'm not doing the screenshots of everything. And then the second one is to use my time wisely when I'm on a train or a bus or a plane going to and from a location. I found that to be the best time to call. But calling is sorting out the good from the bad, and then just deleting, getting used to deleting. Now, I still need to work on the whole cut it into a video and delete all the rest. Once you cut it into a video, just delete it all, right? I don't need the photo that's like, a tiny bit better quality than the video I have the photo in. I don't need the video clip when I've got the, and just understand that what is the end purpose of all this digital material? It's for me. In the end, I can't imagine too many people wanting to retrace my steps around whatever, right? I can't imagine too many people being too curious about a lot of things. If you're going to go someplace I've been, yeah, it's kind of curious to go check it out, look at it. If you're curious, about this or that, there's that information there. But most of this, in blunt honesty, is for me. When, hopefully I'm sitting around in 10 or 15 years, if I can make it that long, and I'm not going to be out walking around, and I'm going to want to remember a lot of these amazing places I've been, these amazing people I've met. So cutting it into a video and saving it in video format seems to be the best way to do it. And it occupies, unfortunately for me right now, it occupies more time than I have. But it's not a bad idea if you're going on vacation, a couple times a year, or once a month you're taking a weekend trip, to make a little video clip out of it and just store that video file and drop all those other photos, right? You don't need all the screenshots. You don't need all the menus. You don't need everything you took a photo of to translate, right? Just make the video, keep it, and drop all the excess. And so that's something I need to work on getting better at. And it's something I'm working on now. And, someone called me out on it, and called me out pretty hard that I was talking the talk and not walking the walk. So my um, commitment to myself is to get better at cutting these videos and push out the videos. Whether people watch them or not, it's not really relevant to me. In a lot of the videos, there's some videos that I really want people to watch and hope they enjoy them, but a lot of the videos, it's just my memories, right? I mean, who's gonna care about a train ride I took, right? Or for me, I watch the train ride in the background and it reminds me of everything else that happened, right? It brings all those memories back to the surface. So using my time, this is it's a short video, but the whole takeaway is if you go on vacation or anything, how you store your videos, whether it's in a folder or a file or on a cloud or a hard drive or a CD, or you print them, that's all up to you. But I think using the plane ride to or from to go through, or when you're sitting in a train or a taxi, or you have that downtime where you can't really sleep, you can't really, you can watch a movie or something, sometimes you can stream something, but I think that's really the best time to go through your digital files and go, okay, I need to get rid of this. Now, if you're on a nomad lifestyle like me, it's a matter of just, it's something you need to actually budget time to do, right? You need to actually set aside, okay, I took 3 terabytes of video this week. I need to cut that down to half a gigabyte or 2 gigabytes, right? And how do I do that? You need to set up the time. Otherwise, you're just going to keep collecting hard drives, collecting storage, or filling a cloud service somewhere that when you go back through it, it's just so hard to go back through it. The other thing is labeling. So clearly, anything you're keeping, clearly go back and label date, time, and place. Now, I know a lot of devices now will auto tag it, and they'll auto tag this and auto tag that. But what I have found is when I move from one device to another or one platform to another, a lot of times the date created suddenly becomes when I moved it from this camera to that computer, or vice versa, or from that computer to that hard drive. It rewrites a lot of that shit. And it also makes it hard to find. So, I do like the idea of using folders, even though the phones these days don't really like folders. They do albums and all the photos are in one place. You can't really, cut and paste folders and put folders in folders and categorize like that. It wants to micromanage how you handle your photos on using iPhone, and really a weird system. But you can write to files, and that takes it out of your photos, puts it into a file, and then you can move that file off to another device, which is still cumbersome, but it is one way to pull it out of your screen roll and save it to a hard drive. Just a thought. But using that time, like I said, on vacations, going to and from on the airplane, I think that's the great hack there. And if you're living nomad or you're multi-weeks, just set aside, okay, I'm gonna spend 2 hours today, or an hour today and an hour tomorrow, going through and just erasing and deleting the duplicates and the photos that in hindsight are irrelevant, because you're going to take a lot of digital photos and video clips where you go like, oh, okay, I don't really need that, or I don't really want that, and learn to just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. That's my opinion. That's my experience. And I'm telling you, this is more work than it's really worth. But I do have a lovely lunch that was brought up for me. And I'm going to get to work on this and not worry so much about my digital files, because this is where I want to spend my time, right? See you, bye. See you, bye-bye.